eventually will result in an economic slowdown. So I'm afraid that the bears on this one have a pretty strong argument that concerns me a lot.
Bill Gates may no longer be running Microsoft, but his actions are still monitored and scrutinized around the world, and he has created a buzz because of some of his recent movements in the stock market. Gates has been selling many of his stocks and changing the focus of his investments, which experts are viewing as a signal of another possible crisis in the structures of the market. The theory is that if Gates thinks certain sectors are becoming more risky, then they probably are. Gates is known for being a CEO, but he's even better at capital growth. Through the help of his fund manager, Michael Larson, Gates managed to make $50 billion over the past 20 years. Gates and Larson not only made billions from the bull run, but also successfully prepared for the dot-com bubble and 2008 recession. It's no secret that the economy is in a tough position. The US economy is undergoing accelerating inflation, the lowest consumer sentiment in history, the Russia-Ukraine war, low consumer savings rates and record high debt levels. The government pumped trillions of dollars into the economy in 2021. 2022 is the complete opposite of that, with the government pulling back trillions of dollars out of the economy. The economy is currently being hit by a double-edged sword. One edge of the sword is accelerating inflation, and the other edge is the massive level of government debt. The government now has two choices: to destroy the US dollar or crash the economy at the risk of popping the debt bubble.
So since we last talked, small thing has happened. Russia has invaded Ukraine, and it feels like we're in a new world. We are going to be seeing higher energy prices, higher food prices for years to come. It seems difficult to see how this resolves itself very quickly. What does that say to you about the economic outlook for the next few years?
Well, it comes on top of the pandemic, where government debt levels were already very, very high, and there were already some supply chain problems. And so it's likely to accelerate the inflationary problems that rich world economies have, and force an increase in interest rates that eventually will result in an economic slowdown. So I'm afraid that the bears on this one have a pretty strong argument that concerns me a lot.
The Fed has decided to go with the second choice of slowing the economy at the risk of an unprecedented collapse. The billionaire and co-founder of Microsoft said the war in Ukraine, which has driven up commodity prices, comes in the wake of the pandemic, where government debt levels were already very high, along with some problems in the supply chain. Gates predicted that this will eventually lead to an economic slowdown. Many countries, including the US, UK, and India, have started raising interest rates to try to tamp down inflation. That eventually will result in an economic slowdown. First of all, raising rates that sharply means that borrowing will cost significantly more for business investments and mortgages. Rates on the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage recently increased by the largest one-week jump in 35 years. If this increase in interest rate slows the economy too much, it could pop the existing debt bubble and spiral the economy into a recession or depression. A surge in oil prices is strongly correlated with recessions. The gray areas in this chart are periods in which the US economy was in a recession. You can see how every time Brent crude oil crosses $100 per barrel, a recession almost always follows. Brent crude oil is currently at roughly $120 per barrel, signaling that a recession is coming. The reason why a recession almost always follows oil prices breaking $100 is because rising oil prices are a tax against the consumers. High gas prices take money directly out of the consumer's pocket. This not only leaves the consumer with less money to spend, but it also drastically lowers consumer sentiment. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index shows that the consumer sentiment is currently the lowest it has been since the 2008 recession. In preparation for a collapse in the US stock market, Gates and Larson have been implementing a variety of hedging strategies. One of these strategies includes shorting stocks. We know that Gates has a short position against Tesla stock because Elon confirmed it himself.
When he had a big short position against Tesla, which was kind of, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems weird. People I know who know the situation well, I said, are you sure? They said, yeah, he had a big short position against Tesla, which obviously didn't work out too well.
Gates and Musk were about to meet to talk about philanthropy, but leaked messages showed that Gates' Tesla short position hindered the meeting from occurring. He said that he had turned down Gates' offer of philanthropy, claiming that his refusal demonstrated that the Microsoft co-founder was not serious about combating climate change.